other questions? I can't hear. Is there any way we could get a microphone? No. Oh, when I pulled the piece out of that one, I decided what I'm gonna make. No, it's kind of more like when I make that ball, and if it's like longer, like that gather, if it's a little bit longer, I'll make one of the more stretch shapes. Or if it's more compact, I'll make a more compact. I don't know. If I get on, like, if one day I'm like really into making these flowers or something, I just go for it. But usually I just like to switch it up a lot. This flower, but I like the fastest flower you can make. see. I actually started out as a hot shot glass blower, so. Something, sorry, I'm still having trouble hearing you.
When you make a piece, Amber, do you leave, you know, either a face or a butterfly or a flower from the original piece that you're making it from, or do you make all your design, all your pieces?
No, I like to,
See right there, I kind of did a little curve, so I'm going to counteract that with a little bit of air, and I'm going to bring the tailstock in. Okay. Now if I don't touch this point from here over from the rest of the process, it'll stay perfectly straight. But I probably will touch it again, get it hot, it might wiggle around. This first setup right here is pretty crucial. So I will spend probably a little bit of time. See, there's a little kind of divot right here. We got to get that worked out, and that's just because the middle of this spot isn't as hot as the other two sides. Once we get this set up, we'll be golden. Wires definitely. So when I do this first bottom, I'm trying to imagine that I can already see the vase shape, and I can kind of follow this line this way. And I want it bigger on the top, which will be over here. So I have to kind of do this part right. Got to set it up properly and follow the curve all the way down. before I finish the neck, I'm going to bring the bottom of this thing down a little bit for two reasons. A, because I want to see it visually as a little bit nicer of a shape. So if I put the foot on it, it comes down to a nice cone. And also because it'll be easier to take off later when it's restricted a little bit more, like this. So now we got that pulled out. We don't have to worry about it going too crooked on this side. We'll neck that down and finish the neck.
So this is actually going to be the bottom of the piece. So now I'm going to be shaping the rim of the toilet and kind of like the top, this whole top half of the bowl.
Said it was with NJ.com. Yeah, okay.
And then I'll add another dot for the peel. So there gets to be kind of like a buildup of glass right here. If you curl your toes, there's like a space in between that I want to create, and I don't want to have any stress in that area. I'm just going to heat that part up and then scoop some of it out. I want the tips of my toes to be kind of fat, and then the middle should have a little bit more. Scoop that out. So sometimes I'm not sure about my spacing. Usually most of the time, so I want to get them even. Hard little lines. And then I know exactly where to cut. So this part, I just cut the toes to give a space really, and they kind of seal back together. But this divides them really well. You don't have to cut all the way down. They look like these little rectangles. I still want so this is my favorite part, or one of my favorite parts. A lot of people think that I'm trying to like put blood and stuff on it. I'm really just trying to make these card marks come out a little bit better. Like I said, I like exaggerating, and I feel like a lot of times with certain colors you just can't see all of the little fine lines and details that you put in there. But I do like things to look dirty also, of course. So this is me adding dirt to these toes. And also, as a pipe maker, I like to, the mouthpiece on this is like the bottom.
Is she really adding dirt or some glass particle?
So I like people to kind of
they all know that, right?
suck out the dirtiest part of something. So, a lot of dirty feet, underpants. I feel like it, and I don't really want it to look like the pipe. I want it to be like, a sculpture, like something you can look at and appreciate. It doesn't need to really look like what it is.
What size brick is that?
What's up?
What size brick is that?
This is 70 or like the sand before powder. I think it's all. This is another reason why I don't like working with solid. It's like the inside is still hot and the outside is starting to cool down and you get that weird skin. Anyway. I'm gonna take this off. Actually, I'm gonna heat this up first. Whoa. And now I'm gonna take this off. I'm gonna leave kind of a big stump on there because I don't want to get too close to my foot. It's definitely cold now. Leg band.
Ah, you remember something? Still restricting now.
Does anybody want to ask a question again?
What color is your Camaro?
What's that?
What color is your Camaro?
Burgundy. Yeah. You know what's weird? The 88 Camaro that I had was burgundy also, and I used to envision like another burgundy, because I just had a burgundy Camaro. And then I ended up getting another burgundy Camaro. So, but I really do think that visualization like really works. Okay. That's one of the reasons why I think it works, because both my Camaros are burgundy.
But first of all, I just want to talk to you guys about what I set up with. So this is my home model. If you guys want to get a camera in here, I'll actually just point it towards you guys. This is a pneumatic grinder. It runs off of this foot pedal right here. And this actual airline kit, this ancient as all get out, but I got it from eBay and it works fine. But pretty much what you have here is a regulator. Sorry, I'm getting all covered in the cords. A regulator, an air dryer, and a foot pedal. And that helps you pretty much grind pneumatically. No electronics in that, so the advantage is obviously you're not going to shock yourself. Pneumatics are also just, I don't know, they're a really cool way of working. Even if you are working on cars all day, there's a lot of advantages to working in that kind of system. But I'm not going to tell you on pneumatics right now. So we also have the electric drill that I'm going to be using today. This is a short, simple, sweet version of pretty much the same thing, except it's just got an on and off switch and an electric cord. Of course, this and water doesn't mix that well, but I've been working with it for years. So I honestly recommend that if you're going to get into engraving at all, the flexible shafts are nice because that separates the electronics. Or a pneumatic grinder, you can even find these at Harbor Freight for pretty cheap. You just need a compressor, but pretty much an entry-level compressor has enough compressed air to run one of these guys. And so then moving on to engraving bits, I honestly love what you can get at Harbor Freight. This is like 20 bucks, this is like 10. And I go through these things.
We gotta hold this still.
There we go. Yeah. Harbor Freight. There you go. So yeah, these things are really nice because they're pretty much disposable. They're plated. They're not sintered. Sintered means the diamonds are embedded throughout. Plated means they're just on the outside. I burn through these things, but they last me a pendant or two, and I've definitely been able to make my money back off of them. And you know, Amazon sells them and other things, but you know, personally, I just find that the ones that they make and sell out of Harbor Freight are like $2 more than I can get off Amazon. They work really well. I don't use every bit in this thing, but I do use a lot of them. So I might not use all 50 pieces, but I use the majority. So now, getting into the process, what I have here, and what I'm going to be demonstrating to you guys today, is how I carve a tablet. If you guys aren't familiar, it's my pendant design. A loop goes through the middle, and it's engraved and then polished later. So the first thing that I do when I'm making these is obviously start out on the torch. I make a nice transparent, usually glass billet, and then I start to layer the glass. I use powder myself to do the layering. I I find that that makes a very even layer, and the color quality is very consistent. There's no streaking or any other issues like that. So what I do is just start out with a tablet that looks like this once I get it out of the kiln. And pretty much what I have here is I have a pencil and a Sharpie. If you guys want to kind of zoom in, we'll just pull over here. Now the great thing is what I've done is I've just sandblasted this thing a little bit. And so now that, you know, if I did sandblast it, I can't get any mark on just clear glass. Like that's not going to happen. But over here, now that it's sandblasted, it's going to hold that too, and it's going to hold that pencil. So as you can see, I can start drawing on the tablet directly to create my design instead of going back and forth to a computer or anything. So again, really what I'm doing now, and at this point, is just coming out and removing the outside, pretty much the stuff that I don't need. I'm doing that pretty quickly at first, and then coming back in with the smaller bits to really refine. And so thanks to, again, the magic, I'm going to take a little quick pass here. Again, thanks to the miracles of preparedness. We've got this tablet that I pre-prepared for that stage that I just described. So now I've removed all the outside material, and I'm pretty much at a point where I'm ready to just line this thing down and shade it up, which is the fun part. So we're going to try to pretty much go through and get this guy all the way finished at this point. So right now, we've got a few thin lines, we've got a few thicker lines. We have a few images as well, like where we know that with this skull's cheekbone, so to speak, we're going to want to make that shaded. So we're just going to come under that line and start reducing the amount of glass. Now when I carve away glass with this shading technique, you know, the layering and having a thicker layer that's going to slowly remove itself, is it's going to show that shade of the gray slowly but surely as I get closer to it. So as you'll see, I'm going to start to kind of embellish that and use that as an advantage to create what would look like a drawing type shade. Yeah, you can turn it up and you can slow it down. And as you slow it down, of course you're going to engrave slower as well. There's just you know, less rotation of the bit, less chance for the diamonds to touch the glass in that moment of time that you're there. So I'm throttling down a little bit right there. And again, we're going to just kind of start to define what I want to have behind other things. Whatever I want to have behind other things, I'm going to kind of start to shade first. So like I said, I'm going to get into that cheekbone area. Now this is a really important part, because just like the haircut, I can't go back. So whatever I put in there is in there.